Hello everyone, this is Hearthstone Meta Hype. I am Eco100 with the sore throat, and this is my friend Venga Dragon. How's it going, Venga?
Oh man, better than you, obviously, man. I ain't got no sore throat. I have a permanent sore throat. My voice is always so raspy, and that's how it goes. So
yeah, mine's usually like lively and louder, and now I'm struggling to like speak.
Speak. It sounds like your voice is cracking too, but it's all good, man. You'll be all right. You'll rebound, I promise.
No, yeah. That's what happens when you get hype on stream, I guess.
It is the thing, man.
Your voice goes out the next day.
So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to keep it short because of the new expansion that's coming out. It's funny that Ecor contacts me and goes, "Hey, there was a couple of new cards that came out today, so I gotta do some things." I'm like, "Oh, really? What's going on?" So I pretended like I didn't know there was a new expansion, and he fell for the joke.
In my defense, you showed me a picture saying that the cards hadn't been revealed to you yet. You needed me to send you one of the cards.
He's backtracking, guys. This is all that all came after the fact. But anyway. So let's just get into it. Let's just talk about what we've seen so far. I mean, it is Tuesday. There's a whole bunch of things coming out for the rest of the week. So.
Yeah, well, the cards that have already been revealed, you guys will have already seen them at this point, but it is the Primordial Protector, Kazakus, and Cannon Master Smith. And just overall, what are your general thoughts on these cards?
Well, I'm going to go with the I just got to get it out of the way right away. Is that Kazakus is not hype. That card is not really all that awesome. I mean, with the thing is the battle cry with it is that it basically creates the 1/1, a 4/4, and a 10/10. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it'd be worth it to take out all the 4-cost cards in your deck to have Kazakus with the power. What do you think about that?
I think Kazakus looks pretty good. I rated him like a 4.5 or 5-star out of 5 kind of card.
You're crazy.
Like, I think it looks really, really good.
Really?
I mean, not having any 4 costs would suck, but I mean, in some important decks, like Libram Paladin, because a lot of the Librams are going to stick around, and this is just the first idea off the top of my head, I don't think they have a single 4-drop or 4-cost card. So, like, that's already one deck that you literally don't have to change at all. It already doesn't have any 4-drops.
Wow.
And it's losing a couple of cards, so it's easy to just slot this one in. You could probably fit this into a couple of other decks too. Druid, you can't. You need Overgrowth in Druid, so that one's going to be impossible.
Yeah.
Hunter could probably fit it in. There aren't that many 4-cost Hunter cards. I don't know. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a good card.
I think with the always the first thing though, with the when you have the meta as it is right now, it's hard to do the card like ratings because of you're only thinking in terms of what's in the meta at the time of when you're doing that. So maybe that's my mistake. So maybe you're right. I mean, it does if it generates a 5/5/5 and you need something to play on turn 5, that's not so bad. And
it just generates you tempo. It's cool.
Yeah, it does generate tempo, but I don't know about a 4.5. I would give it if I just up my rating, so I'll backtrack a little bit and say for what you just said, it doesn't sound so bad, but I think that it's just not as awesome as it could be. I just can't see that removing all the 4-cost cards in your deck from many different decks. Paladin, yeah, like you said, but I don't know. That's my first impression.
Sorry.
So,
what would you define as a 5-star card? Like, for me, a 5-star card is something that can be used in pretty much any deck and will almost always be good. Like, I could see this card being run in anything. It's just a super versatile card that you can craft and put in anything except maybe Druid because of Overgrowth.
Right.
Like, I could see it being put in a Tempo Mage, and maybe you just, like, don't run Fireballs, which would suck, but you'll probably get some other support.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably put it in Warlock as well. Like, there aren't that many good... You have Cascading Disaster, which would suck to lose, but that's the only 4-drop card that's good in Warlock. I could see you potentially running just other different removals.
Yeah.
Well, Warrior, like my Control Warrior, I don't know. It's got... I guess the Sword Eater is kind of important, to be fair, but... I don't know, Shaman it could work in. Yeah. And I could see it working in any class except Druid, to be just honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it really does change certain things. I mean, you did ask me what I would define as a 5-star card, and I just don't really have an answer for that, because I think that there's that the 5-star card is a unicorn. I mean, it's like basically everybody. It's you know what it could look like, but you just never can find it, because I don't think
That's actually super true.
right. It's just
I've had a hard I have the same problem actually a lot of the time.
yeah, so it's like sometimes like I would say that the 5-star card, like I've had where even in the expansion that we're in now, Sticky Fingers has been the 5-star card in a game, in a specific game, right? And then
That's true. It could be gamer-like, and like depending on the meta, like Sticky Fingers was the MVP in Evolve Shaman meta.
Yeah.
So like it could change as well. I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People were telling me that I was rating all of my cards like around like 2 to 4. I didn't have any 1s, no 5s. I should probably include those. And if I am going to make a 5-star card, this is probably one of the most likely ones.
Yeah.
To be 5.
Yeah. Well,
that was just me personally.
No, that's cool. I mean, we can get to the next one, and I think what was the name of it again? The
Primordial Protector.
Primordial Protector. Now that's see now if Kazakus had that same type of player like this one, this card actually feels like it's pretty good, because it summons it right away. So the only thing is it is an 8 mana, but I mean, if you have something like with the example that they showed on Hearthstone, if you had Tidal Wave in your hand and or in your deck, and you draw your highest card spell and summon a random minion with the same cost, you're talking about putting out, like with Tidal Wave specifically, is you put up 2 big bodies and you have the healing on the next turn, or like if you had some other high cost spells in your deck, you're getting some pretty good stats. I mean, at the very least, you're getting a 6/6. If there's an 8 mana card or a 7 mana card that would generate a good minion, talking about putting up some serious bodies for it. So I like the fact that it's an elemental, because it does remind me of the Journey to Ungoro days, because I really started to like the elementals and stuff like that. So I could see this card being played in just about any deck that would want to create this new archetype of elementals. Maybe mage.
Yeah, I rated this one personally a 4, only because it's 8. And I was comparing it to Spiteful Summoner. You remember Spiteful Summoner, right?
Of course.
The 6 mana 4/4 that, for those of you who don't know, it's a 6 mana 4/4 that reveals a spell from your deck. It doesn't draw it for you, and summons a minion. And that card, back in the day, was broken. Like, it had an entire deck that revolved around it, some like tempo. This was in a druid deck, and then it would reveal a 10 cost spell, because that was the only spell that you would run in the deck, and you'd run 2 copies. And I think that card was broken.
Yeah.
The only issue with this one is it's a little bit more expensive, and I think that the meta will be relatively fast still. Like, this will probably work well in a control style deck, and although I do think that the meta looks like it's going to slow down, like just based on the cards that have been revealed, there aren't that many like aggro cards. It looks, and they've taken out charge. It looks like a little bit more of a control focused meta, which is cool, but I still think that an 8 cost card that could potentially low roll you and get you like a kind of bad 8 drop. I don't know what kind of 8 drops are going to be in the meta, but it could low roll you, I guess, or whatever in the cost. You use Tidal Wave as the example, but I just feel like it could sometimes low roll you. I don't know, like, I think it looks like a really good card, and I wanted to give it higher. I just feel like at 8, it's just a little bit too slow. If it were 7, it would be good. If it were 6, it would be phenomenal. Like if it was a 6 mana 4/4.
Yeah.
Like I'd say that this card's a 5 out of 5. Run this in every deck.
Yeah. Well,
but at 8, it's a bit close.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you remember, Spiteful Summoner started at 6, and it was a 6 mana 4/4, and
then went to 7.
And it went to 7,
right?
And I think it stayed at 7.
And it became mostly unplayed after that. It was still played a little bit in Druid.
Yeah.
But after that, it became mostly unplayed, going to 7 mana, and this is 8. And even though the stats are better, and you get to actually draw the spell, I just think it's a bit too slow, personally. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I think it's a great card in the control deck if you can get there. But like, think about it. Another thing is, say it's a choice between like this or Twisting Nether on turn 8 as a control deck. Like, oh, I've lost control of the board. I need to play Twisting Nether to survive. But like Primordial Protector is also an 8-drop. Do I run the risk of trying to get a taunt out of it or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
know what you're
think
saying.
it's good though.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I actually, it kind of made me think about it in a different way. I mean, I said it was good card, and good to me would be like a 3.5 if on a scale of 1 to 5. So I think 4 is definitely, maybe it's a 4-star card, but maybe it's like a 3.5-star card after what we just spoke about. It makes a lot of sense to me, what you said. So the next one though was what? Sunscale Raptor?
What? No. The next one is Cannon Master Smith.
Oh, I thought Sunscale Raptor was one that they revealed as well, or is that was in the core set, right?
That was earlier, yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't think it's core set. I think it was just one of the early releases for this expansion.
yeah. Okay. So
but it's a 5-mana 4/4 that says Battle Cry. Transform your secrets into 3/3 soldiers. They transform back when they die. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Magic when you turn lands into creatures. If you play Magic, I don't know if you play just Hearthstone, but it reminds me of that, or like some things where you turn like artifacts into like creatures for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just a cool mechanic. It pushes for Secret Paladin, which I think is good. It's losing Desperate Measures, the 1-mana cast a random spell or cast a random secret and then twin spell it.
Yeah.
So it's losing that, which sucks.
No, but
as long as it gets like one more secret, I think this card will be perfectly fine.
Funniest thing is too is in the demo when Kripparrian did it, they actually show him casting that spell as the example. And
that's a bait.
Yeah,
that's lies.
Yeah, because like why? Like what you know what I mean? Like it gets you excited over something you can't even do. I mean, I guess you could do it in wild, but it's
True.
But the thing is, in standard meta, no, it's not going to happen. I'm pretty sure that was the case. Forgive me if I'm wrong, audience, but I'm pretty sure I saw that and I said, "Wow, that's pretty." And then shaking my head. Wait a minute, that card's not even going to be here.
That card's not going to be here anymore. Yeah,
but
I had to take a double take on it as well.
Yeah, it's an infinite paladin, secret paladin, and the secret paladin kind of has been something that hasn't been around in a while. I mean, the last time I remember was about a year and a half ago, where it was somewhat viable to play. So it's kind of cool to see some different archetypes coming in. It's always cool to build some decks around secrets. You and I both love secrets because they're actually the best part of the game that I think that we would agree on this, that it's actually the most interactive. Like you had said it best, that
like that.
Like you said it best to me, like when you said that when you figure out that person's secret and you knew what it was and you played around it, it feels so good. Right?
It just adds another layer of depth. Like and if you're the one that plays the secret and the opponent plays into it, or you play counterspell on turn 8 against like a warlock or something, when you have a board and they can't Twisting Nether anymore, it's so satisfying if you like time a secret perfectly or read the opponent's secret well, which means you can play around it, or maybe even sometimes get it to be used in your favor. Like I've been able to trigger Rigged Fair Game on purpose to have my opponent overdraw cards before, and they'll overdraw like 1 or 2 cards because they're like, oh, it's just gonna keep triggering or keep dealing damage to me, so it won't trigger Rigged Fair Game. And I love secrets. It adds another layer of depth to the game that most other, like a lot of classes don't have, and most of the time doesn't exist, which is, I don't know, I like it a lot.
Yep. All right, so we talked about the couple of cards there. What we're going to do is we're going to answer a viewer question, and we're going to do that over on the next segment, which is going to be on my channel. So make sure that you hit the subscribe and like. Ecor's got to get on out of here because he's just feeling under the weather, guys. Give this video a like if you want Ecor to get better. From what I understand, every time you hit the like or subscribe, Ecor gets just a little uplifting.
I get a little bit better.
A little bit better. So make sure you hit that button to help him on out. And see you over at the next segment.